we're here to specifically talk about Liliana's transition from school to the Co-Hive program. And our transition to leaving school actually started a little bit earlier than we had expected. We had planned for Liliana to be in school for another year, so I thought I had another year up my sleeve. And even though we started planning this journey when she was in Year 9, it worked out that towards the end of last year, school wasn't working out for Lils, and she was ready for whatever was to come next. It was very quick for us to realise that schools hadn't necessarily prepared Liliana for what life after school was going to look like. We're pretty stern parents, and our expectations on all our children is if you're not at school, you're working or doing something else to contribute to society, get out of bed. We don't have sloths living around in our house. And so after a little bit of a well-earned rest over the Christmas period, we started our journey of what next for Liliana. We started visiting many service providers to work out what would come next. And as many of you have or will be going through that period, it's a whole nother system to navigate after we've just navigated getting our children to school, getting our children to transition to high school, and now we're transitioning into the adult world. It's challenging. For those of you who know Lili, Liliana is really great at telling you what she doesn't want to do. And it's pretty hard to get her to do it if she doesn't want to do it. So as we were visiting many of these different places, there was quite a few that she had decided were not for her before she even stepped inside the door. But thankfully she did persevere, and she sat through their different interviews and spiels and processes. But with respect to Liliana's wishes, they just weren't the place for her. Thankfully, a colleague of mine had heard about Co-Hive, and so we reached out to Kim. My first conversation with Kim was different, and I knew from that moment that this was a different program to all the others that we had experienced. Kim asked me some very deep and at sometimes confronting questions, but for me that showed that she cared. She really wanted to get to know what made Lili, Lili, and that was a big difference for us. On our first visit here, stepping through that door, I was waiting for each moment for Liliana to go, this isn't it, but it never came. We were welcomed as soon as we stepped into the door by the amazing reception staff, including one of the participants who was transitioning and training into that role. We went upstairs, we had more interviews with Kim, where she continued to ask some really direct questions. And I would say I found it emotional, but every step in Liliana's life from before she was born has been anxiety invoking and emotional. But that for me came from my daughter being sick. Kim saw the potential that I was in. Well, sorry, I wasn't going to break the number. Thank you, darling. Kim started speaking about how she would help Lili, how Co-Hive can help Lili with her confidence, in helping her to make her own informed decisions. Not just I'm not getting out of bed in the morning, but I have to get out of bed. There is a life I have to live, that Liliana can develop those decision-making skills that would grow her into her adulthood and give her those opportunities for a good life that we all wish for our children. Every participant and staff member we met on that first visit here made us feel so welcomed. And it also helped that we had a hook of a ski trip down below. Liliana grew up in the snowy mountains. She learnt to ski at the same time she learnt to walk, and she loves being outdoors. So that promise of a trip this winter was all she needed to say, I'll come back. In our first week, Liliana started with some travel training support by the staff from Co-Hive. She needs to catch 2 trains to get here. For me, I thought this was a really big achievement because I thought I'd have to find a program close to home. And being so far away from where we were giving, I thought, no way, you can't make something. Within 2 days, she had navigated 2 trains, Central Station. Within a week, she knew how to use trains, light rail and a ferry. She does go to another program in Manly where she catches 2 ferries, and she's got it down pat. It was fantastic. I just think she missed having a buddy to talk to with Michael. Liliana's been doing the Employment Skills program and the Animal Care course. Liliana loves being outside, being out in nature, and the opportunities she's had with the employment course has given her experience last semester at Centennial Park, where she got to do similar things to the other boys, painting fences, planting trees, work, etc. For us, the difference we saw in Liliana came within a month. or two of being here. Her confidence in herself was just growing. It's been growing astronomically. The fact she's standing here smiling would not have happened 6 months ago, would they? And so, the first moment I saw it was a friend of the family had come over to drop their daughter off for a visit, and Liliana started initiating the conversation. That had never happened before. We've recently just had a lovely holiday in Queensland where we were on a boat with 8 strangers, and quite often do I turn around, where's Lily? And she's off chatting to strangers, making conversations, answering questions about herself, telling her about what she does in her programs and what she wants to do in life. So Co-Hive has empowered Liliana. She has set herself a goal to get a job as a ski instructor. It's a rather lofty goal. That's something that she's determined, and I know Co-Hive is going to support her to get to. She had an absolute ball on the recent Blue Mountains and snow trips, where she got to spend some time with a ski instructor and actually get to start to understand what a job as a ski instructor might look like. Her enthusiasm for being at Co-Hive with the staff and participants is evident daily, as she gets herself up and out early every morning. Remember, she doesn't want to do it, she's interested. There's no more forcing school uniforms on. There's no more dragging out of bed. She's happy to be here. And that for me is all I need to see. The way she comes home and tells me about her day, about the different people, about what she's got planned for the coming days. All her planning and communication is done between herself and Co-Hive. It took me a few weeks of anxiety, not knowing what's my daughter doing every moment of the day. Who is she with? Is she safe? Is she going to get home safe? But right now I have no worries. I know she's safe. I know she's very capable of managing her own days and her own travel, which is huge for us. She's even managed to coordinate meeting up with friends at Central Station after Co-Hive a few times. She loves and enjoys the mix of social connections that she's made this year. She had a great night out with the girls' night out on the town and karaoke. I've never been to karaoke, we have to take us. And she enjoys mixing with the difference of males and females, having been to a single-sex school. So Co-Hive is really meeting the needs for us and Liliana. In terms of my advice for anyone else who's thinking about transitioning, for me, the feeling was no different from when all my children started in daycare early on. You visit the place, you meet the staff, you get the feel. You know from just walking through the area, this is going to be a fit for you, and you're a young adult or not. And I guess my other advice is don't be afraid to share information about your young adult. I think the more the service and the program understands about Liliana, the more they're actually going to need to target and support her needs. Thank you.